They lay tens of thousands of eggs and then die, their bodies floating downstream to feed the next generation. Their larvae, called amicotes, live buried in the mud for up to 7 years, feeding on the smallest organic particles that they do not notice and forget about. Then, when they undergo a metamorphosis, their eyes open, their teeth erupt, and they feel hungry. His mouth is not a mouth at all, but a circular whirlpool of teeth arranged in concentric rings that spiral down to a central tongue. This tongue is not for tasting. It's a drill bit. It cuts through scales and skin like a rotating blade. Long before sharks ruled the seas, before bones and jaws appeared, there was a creature that fed on suction and pain. It clings, drills, drinks, and it has never changed. Meet the sea lamprey Petromyzon marinus, one of the oldest and most feared parasites in our oceans. She doesn't bite like a predator. She doesn't chew. She's sucking on it, and once it attaches, it doesn't let go of it until it drinks its victim's blood. Once inside, lamprey secretes an anticoagulant, a chemical that supports free blood flow. The lamprey doesn't just take a bite, it turns its prey into a living fountain. To make matters worse, the victim does not die immediately. The fish, weak and pale, continue to swim, carrying the parasite like a curse, until they eventually die. Then the sea lamprey is released and swims away in search of the next host. This creature is a representative of the world that existed before the beginning of time, a living fossil that has been unchanged for more than 360 million years. It has no bones, no jaws, no paired fins. His skeleton consists of cartilage, and his eyes are small but expressive. His strange, eel-like body hides one of nature's most exquisite biological tools. When you look inside that mouth, into the round rings of teeth that sparkle like ivory saw blades, you see evolution's first experiment with predation. This is a sample of a vampire. But this terrible story is not limited to the ocean. The sea lamprey has also spread to freshwater reservoirs. In the early 20th century, when humans built canals connecting the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes of North America, lampreys followed suit. Over the course of decades, they have spread across Lake Superior, Huron, and Michigan, depleting the vitality of local fish populations. Each adult lamprey can kill over 40 pounds of fish in a single feeding season. The whole fishing industry collapsed. Trout, whitefish, and sturgeon have disappeared from the reservoirs where they once flourished. Governments have launched a war against them using poisons, barriers, and traps, but the lamprey adapted. It can live in both salt and fresh water. She can go up rivers to spawn. She can go without food for months. To this day, millions of dollars are spent annually to combat their numbers. And yet, even now, they are surviving. When scientists study lampreys, they see something more than horror, they see history. Because this animal holds secrets that bind all vertebrates together. His body is simple, but his nervous system is a masterpiece of efficiency. Lampreys were the first to show us how the spinal cord can regenerate. After cutting, their neurons regenerate. This is something that even humans can't do. Neuroscientists are studying them to uncover the secrets of spinal regeneration, hoping one day to apply this knowledge to people suffering from paralysis. Thus, the same creature that feeds on blood may one day help restore the ability to move to those who have lost it. There is another secret in his eyes. Lampreys have developed photosensitive pigments that are almost identical to ours. They see with dull greenish shades, the color of deep water. When sunlight penetrates the sea, their pupils adjust in the same way as humans. And in this alien mouth, researchers have discovered complex genetic mechanisms, genes that are the precursors of those responsible for the formation of jaws, tongues, and teeth in all vertebrates. In other words, the lamprey's nightmarish smile may be your ancient ancestor. In a way, it's humbling to realize that our first prototype, The original experiment on vertebrates began with them feeding on blood. When lampreys spawn, they move up rivers, sometimes hundreds of kilometers inland. Adults dig nests in the gravel, grabbing rocks with their round mouths to push them aside. The name Petromyzon literally means clinging to the stones. The transformation can be called monstrous. From a blind worm to a sighted predator, it was as if the shadow had grown eyes and remembered what blood tasted like. And so the cycle continues, ancient and perfect. In some places, people are afraid of them. In others, they admire their resilience. In medieval Europe, kings feasted on lampreys, considering them a delicacy symbolizing power and sin. It is said that King Henry I of England died after gorging himself on lampreys, too many at one time. The irony is almost poetic. The devourer devours the devoured. In the deep waters of the Atlantic and the cold northern seas, they are still drifting, still clinging to something, still feeding. They have survived 5 mass extinctions, the rise and fall of continents, and the transformation of oceans. They survived dinosaurs, mammoths, and empires because they never needed to change. Every scar they leave on a fish is a sign of survival, a reminder that you don't have to be beautiful to be powerful. When you see a fish in the water, long, silvery, with a perfect circle of teeth, remember that you are looking at one of the oldest living creatures on Earth. It has seen worlds rise and fall, it fed on giants, and it's still here. So maybe it's not a monster at all. Perhaps it's just an honest being who shows us what survival looks like if we put aside all illusions. Because under all our complexity, under our skin and in our eyes, we carry her legacy, the same thirst for life, the same perseverance with which we go through times. Lamprey is not just a vampire. This is the ancestor of all of us. Even in the dark, life finds a way to survive. Support the channel. I will continue to talk about the ancient creatures that still inhabit our world.